Right. Right. Let's find some stuff to paint. Right. Let's find some stuff to paint. I don't want to do the front of the 7-Eleven. Had that in the back of my mind for a while. Right. Let's find some stuff to paint. I don't want to do the front of the 7-Eleven. Had that in the back of my mind for a while. Right. Ooh. Yeah, I like just the glow of it. Not particularly in love with 7-Eleven, but nothing else looks quite like that. Some nice complexity there. Let's do this. Yeah, I don't know. The first thing I do is make my image the same proportions as my source image. I can see that size just by scrolling up here, and it'll say 2490 by 1441. Ultra wide. Right, so it's the same. This might be one of those times I want the split screen. Turn off layers. And the first thing I like to do is this classic technique of putting down a layer. I noticed that Heavypaint exports the PNG, it's transparent wherever the gray is showing. So that's not a great thing. So I try to cover everything first with just multiple passes of something like this, like that warm orange could pop through anywhere here and look good. I don't think there's much chance that any of that is still transparent. So I'll even knock it down. One level to where it's kind of the color of that brick that's in the building. I'll switch to the line tool to start my block in. And like every other time, I'm going to focus on big shapes first, as big as possible. Not color, but I'm going to try to get it in the right color family from the get-go. That's how I keep it interesting for myself. Is how close can I get it? In those first passes. This, what I'm doing now, has to do a lot with proportions. What proportion does what part of the painting take up? The sky, the ground. In this case, this, if I was doing a painting of a person's face, all this would apply to their nose and their chin. It doesn't. The particulars of what you're painting don't matter so much as the method of breaking down shapes. And I think the line tool is great for that, because in this case, I'm not using it as a line, I'm using it as a big block. A flat brush stroke. I'm going to use my move tool here. Yeah, buddy. What's up? Yeah, what's up? What are you doing? Knock it off, though. The cat lives in a dramatic world of his own making. Yeah, bud. I'm probably going into more detail than I should in this part, but I like to have some sort of anchor, some idea of what's going where. And I know that it only takes me a few seconds to do that stuff, so it's okay if I have to change it. And I can't stress enough how all of this is for fun and warming up. It's not for having a beautiful piece of art. This is a way to get the visual fires burning, start thinking about pictures, start thinking about proportions. And I'm probably going to do 2 or 3 more paintings tonight by the time the night's all over. So the warm up is there to get me thinking about all of it again. It's crazy that in 24 hours you can lose your flow. You can lose all the stuff that you built up before. I can feel it right now. I'm not ready to paint really. I'm gonna take a few minutes and drink my tea and think. Last night I was raring to go. I was cranking out tons of painting. So I do think it's a super good chance to talk about the more philosophical stuff. Why do we do this? What's the purpose behind it? Certainly not to be a great artist. Although if you become a good artist, that feels great. It's more about understanding what you see every day. You know, we're all out here living in this weird world. Full of phenomena. It's all illuminated by light. So what are we seeing? I don't know if I took that file off. Oh, darken it just a little bit. The fill gradient is a killer tool. One motion like that, I can get the whole sky knocked in. Do the same thing with more saturation coming from the other side. It's too much. And that ice chest is almost the same value as the sky up there. So I can kind of borrow that. It's very close to. And stuff next to it is similar, just a slight shift. Might as well get a gradient into the lot too. So pick one of the colors that's in there and make it darker. And the fill gradient. Let's see how that works. It's not really what I'm after. Doesn't like taking it out of bounds. It's all right. We're gonna go over all this with a mixer. lock in the basics of what's happening. It's yellow, desaturated its home, gray it out. Most of my paintings recently, I've just started using the fill tool really early. And I'm finding that it does a lot of the stuff that I was previously using fill gradient for. And I don't have any, there's no gradient. I guess I could use the gradient texture on this. I'm not sure how that would work. I haven't really needed to. It's like if I just take advantage of the pressure sensitivity and just glaze. Over what was previously there, then I start getting cool variants, neat little semi-accidents. No, they're not really accidents. Just a line tool across there. Too thick, too dark. I'd rather do two passes with something too thin. There's that sidewalk shade. Where's that comes down? Right in there on that side. This side, maybe. The line that goes across is right under the sign. I'll go at the top of these doors. Basically, I'm putting it in with like a neutral brown because I can darken that and lighten it. And it seems to kind of be the base color of a lot of the structure in the shop. So I can work lights and darks all around that. This gives me just a gesture of what goes where. We're going to do crazy simplification. Of course, it's so complex in there. But hopefully it's going to give the idea of being complex. No, buddy, doesn't cut it. The one thing I can't stand in the movie industry, I watch a lot of behind the scenes stuff. And there's this whole mentality of, oh, we'll fix it in post. Meaning, if they make errors, they're just going to let it fly. And then in post production, they're going to go in and digitally edit or fix their screw ups somehow later. And, look how appealing that mentality would become and how lazy it would make you overall if you're never self-editing at the time and you're always just saying, well, I'll go in later and make it right. And then of course I run into the fact that as a painter, I have to do that all the time. Not that I'm going to fix it in post, but I'm always setting up for post-production. I'm always setting up stuff to do later, knowing I'm going to have to do it after several other steps or parts of the process get done. So I think it's important to just guard against that from the outset. We know there's this tendency or potential. It's almost like, when do you eat your dessert? Do you eat it before the meal or after? I sort of want to do the non-sexy stuff first. But having fun with it, right? Stuff like this is fun. This little funny details. Much, yeah. Another thing, it sounds a little bit like a cop out, but okay, what if it is a cop out? But not trying to make an exact replica. I mean, that's a little bit deceiving because I really, as I'm painting it, I am paying close attention to the original and I'm trying to put in what I see in the original. So, in a way, I'm copying the original. In another way, I'm making my own painting based on information that I found in the original. Does that make sense? If I genuinely try to copy that original, I'm gonna end up sad. I can't do it. It's too crazy. There's too many bits and pieces, and I can't make heads or tails of it. Right, so it just make me nuts to try that. But this, I can manage. This is not the same. This is a process of breaking things down. And the lasso tool, the pressure sensitive lasso tool is a, oh god, it's so cliche. No, it's not a game changer. Just it's great. Is what it is. It's great. Because that pressure sensitive lasso lets you just pull those colors around, pull those shapes around, right to where they need to be. It feels weird to use other tools. I can do that better. fill. Make it darker for these signs. I don't know if this is a real 7-Eleven. It kind of looks like a prototype. Just the same thing in blue over here. This orange just picked up again. It's given the impression like there's crazy detail in there. Just when I glance at it, it reads as that, but there's just not. It's all loose shapes, and you can keep going indefinitely. It's that idea of it looks finished the whole time. If I left it at this, passable enough painting. Because it captures that gestalt feeling. Oops. Use the wrong tool here. Of course, there's a ton further we can go with everything. So it's shapes inside of shapes. Yeah, we're barely into this painting. 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I don't think on my perspective lines are working out. Well, that's what it is. It's those signs that are thrown off. This is what I mean, the push and pull. You put a layer down over something to lighten it up. You pick a color in there. You go back. You put layers down to darken it. You pick colors from that. Go back and lighten it. Back and forth until it's all coming together. Yeah, and so at this point, it's just honing it down to whatever level of detail you want. Sort of a wild gradient up here. Yeah, so I kind of forgot to talk. Little dashes and hints of color around inside. We get up close and none of this holds up. It's obviously not real when you get up close. When you're far away, I think it does hold up. Color jitter is a great way to get little random bits of detail. Each stroke is going to be a different color. Slightly. Which we definitely want. Of course, it's always a balancing act. Oops. How far do you take it? I want that magic trick to happen in the viewer's eye. So the more I put in there, the less I'm giving them for the trick to happen. If that makes sense. If I put in too little, I'm not giving the viewer enough of a framework to have that aha moment. I don't think that really helps. So yeah, that aha moment is important to me. Even thinking of it like a magician, what is the aha moment? What's the point that I want someone to have a great time here? I think it's that spot where you realize that it's all brush strokes. That's what it always is for me. Wow. Because at a glance, that might be a photo. It's pretty close. When you get up close and you see it's all these little rainbow effects. And pretend details. I don't know, that's neat to me. It's too much color. Too much food. And not to sound like a broken record, but anything can be beautiful. 7-Eleven is freaking dull and boring most of the time. Not something we consider beautiful. But you can do something with it. You can use it as a framework to hang the light on. Oops. I'm not really. I hear a lot of people talk about fuzzing your eyes while you're doing that. This kind of stuff. That's my secret cat. My eyes are always fuzzy. I really do try not to focus too hard on details and just the broad basic shapes, and trust that if those are put in the right place, and I have a well-intentioned viewer who's trying to meet me halfway, good time's going to be had by all. If you have a disingenuous viewer, if they're bound to find criticism with what you do, they're going to find it. They're always going to find it. I've had a bunch of, especially Trumpers, find out I'm a painter and they swear to God I'm the worst painter they've ever seen. Just the worst. They hate me so much. Never seen anything they hate so much. It's like, well, you guys may be biased. Just saying. That's, All right, is there anything else crucial? And kind of indicate that these are milks. All right, I'm going to call it a day. This for my warm-up drawing. It's a good one. All right, thank you for joining me.